is a biographical historical drama western thriller written and directed by Nicolaj Arcel, known for films like King's Game, Truth About Men, and A Royal Affair. The story of Ludwig Kalin, who pursued his lifelong dream to make the Heath bring him wealth and honor. Film's runtime is 127 minutes. Film's rating is R. In color. Book by Ida Jessen, starring Mads Mikkelsen. So, welcome back to part 2 of Picture Day, and this is the second film I saw Thursday. And this is another movie I did not know what I was getting into. I didn't really see a trailer for it. All I knew that it's Mads Mikkelsen in a movie. And I think I saw like a Western. So I was like, alright, this might be cool. And I do love me a Western. I love me some old school Western films. Specifically, my favorite is by Mr. Tarantino himself, Django. Love that movie. And of course, the old school freaking Dollar trilogy. This is so good. I freaking loved this film. This film is so fun. It's a Western that Alright, so let's just talk about, I guess, performances. Mads Mikkelsen is just great in everything that he's in. And he plays a guy who just wants the honor and respect from his king, and that he's willing to, do anything to get that honor and respect. And he gets a task to go to the Heath to try to grow and try to find resources. But there's a guy, the antagonist, who wants some of that profit, and yeah, it becomes a little fight between the two. And Mads is great. I love Mads Mikkelsen. I feel like America just doesn't appreciate him that much. I feel like his films, of course, this is a foreign film, so I think Mads Mikkelsen, when he does his foreign films, are just great. He's so good. He's such a great actor, and I do feel like he gets underutilized here over in America. But Mads is awesome in this movie. He's a character that I really did enjoy. And he's a very strong guy who wants to get shit done, and he always finds a way to. He always finds the way. When the chips is on his shoulders, he always tries to find a way to get it done and get things done. And Mads is great. I think his performance is really good. Of course, the antagonist of this film, Frederick D. Schinkel, played by Simon Benenberg, and this antagonist, he's just the guy. He's just an asshole rich kid. And you just want him to get killed pretty much immediately, and in like the first meeting with the guy. And he says that his land, that Mads working on his land, but Mads says, no, this is not your land, this is the king's land. And it's great. And the villain, he's cartoony, I gotta say, he's very cartoony, but he's so despicable, and you just want his death. And I thought the guy did a pretty cool job being the villain, and really being a cruel madman, pretty much, and he's great. I thought the guy did a pretty good job. Pretty much, you can't predict what this fucking guy's gonna do, because there's moments where he does something. There's a specific moment where you're like, what the fuck? Really? And you just wish for this man's demise. And I thought the guy did a pretty good job playing the young rich kid who wants things to go his way, and he'll do pretty despicable things to get that done. And yeah, that villain, fucking terrible. Wanted his ass killed immediately. And the supporting characters of the film, Anna Barbara, played by Amanda Collin, being, I guess, the housekeeper for Mads Mikkelsen. And this character goes through a lot in this movie that I really don't want to discuss because it's a spoiler. But yeah, this character has a lot of darkness that occurs for her, and she has she wants to pretty much kill Mr. Schinkel for a specific thing, and it's great. I thought the girl did a great job, and also just being the caregiver, just being there, helping things out. Of course, she at first kind of is a little hesitant and things, but I really did like this character. She was a badass. In a certain moment, she does some shit where you're like, well, fuck yeah. And yeah, she's great. A character that I really did love, too, was the little girl, Lena Hagberg. And yeah, she's great. I thought her character, of course, she has, I guess, there's moments where she does things to Mr. Mads Mikkelsen, and they, in the beginning, they have a hatred, but by the end, it's really beautiful, and it's just so lovely. I love that I guess Mads Mikkelsen taking care of a kid, I guess. I think that's just awesome, and the girl did a great job. The performances are great, and yeah, this film, everything about this film is very good. The screenplay, also Anders Thomas Jensen, which he's worked with Mads Mikkelsen with his works like Adam's Apple, After the Wedding, and Held for Ransom. And yeah, it's such a great script. The story is so good. Like it really hooks you in the beginning. It takes like it's like a little slow where you're like, all right, not much happening right now. But when the film really takes off, it takes off pretty damn good, and you're just instantly hooked, and you're really just like in for the story. And it's a damn good, well written film, and everything like the cinematography by Mr. Rasmus Videbike is great. Very well shot film. The editing by Oliver Bocote is great. Like everything, it's a pretty long film. It's like 2 hours or so ish, but it doesn't feel like it because of the story and everything that happens. It really grasps you, and you're really in for the journey of this character. And it's really good, and everything like down to just costume designing by Kiki Yonder. Everybody looks good. Everybody looks the part. Production designing by Jetty Lehman is really good. Everything looks beautiful. The sets and this shit looks awesome. This film is great. I really had a fun ass time watching this movie. It was only me and like one guy, but I loved it. I was surprised by the Promised Land. I thought it was fantastic, and Mads Mikkelsen leading a Western, which is not something I would have like been into, but I really was just enjoying every minute of it. The chemistry, specifically between Mads and the two characters, are just really good. I love them together. It's like you're like instantly. It's like you want things to go well for them, and you really are a part. It's like a little family, and I just loved it. And also just the action scenes are awesome. Shit gets violent pretty quickly, and it's amazing. Like a certain violent moment, you're like, oh my god. It's like, I don't know, man. It is awesome, and I really did love this movie. I really had a fun time with this movie. Only thing I could probably say was like the ending. Like the ending was good. I'm not saying it wasn't. But it was like, you know, it didn't, like, the ending had a lot of endings. You know, it was like multiple endings in this film that you're like, I was satisfied by how things end. By the end, I was like, okay, that was satisfying. I'm happy with it. It's just the ending itself. There was like, when you thought it was going to end, it doesn't end. You're like, oh, okay, continues. All right, continues. I felt the film was still amazing. I really did love The Promised Land. It's another film I would love to see again. Just amazing. And it's definitely worth watching it again or collecting. I feel like this film is great. I feel like I had such a fun time with The Promised Land, a movie I did not have zero expectations to. I just did not know what I was going into, but by the end I was super satisfied. I really did love this film. If you can see it in theaters, please do, man. Support this movie. This film is very awesome.